There are two ways to understand vector addition, one algebraic and one visual. We're going to work with these two together to understand how vector addition works. First of all, to do the algebraic one, we need the coordinates for the vector. And the vector is both a scalar and a direction. The scalar represents the length of the vector, and the direction represented by the direction of the vector. So if you place the vector in origo, do you say origo? Or the middle point of the coordinate system, then the direction is represented by where the point hits. So for this point, we got 1, 2. So the coordinates for v, the vector v, is 1, 2. Perfect. So we got the direction from this, but we also got the length from it. So we can calculate the length by using the Pythagorean theorem. The other vector is a bit different because it isn't located in the middle of the coordinate system. It's up here. So in order to figure out the coordinates of this, we can either move our little vector down into the middle here, or we can calculate 1, 2, 3, and 1 up. So it can either be understood to be read as from the position of the center of the system, where you get the coordinates directly from the point of the head of the vector, which is 3, 1, or from where it's lying by looking at the difference of this. So we got the point head is lying at this place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is point 5, 2. And the beginning lies at the point 2, 1. And then we can see that 3 is 5 minus 2 equals 3, and 1 equals 2 minus 1. So that's two ways of figuring out the coordinates of a vector. But now we want to do addition between the vectors v and u, this here. We can do it immediately algebraically now when we have the coordinates. And this will be, you just add them by their components. So this are the x components and these are the y components. So the addition here is equals to the vector 1 plus 3. And for the I coordinates, 2 plus 1. Resulting in the following vector 4, 3. We can tell that this vector will be represented by 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 up. So there's a pointed vector here. Let's add it to our little system here, so to this point. Whoop. Very nice. One interesting thing you can see here, and now we go to the visual part of understanding vector addition, is that this vector here is also represented by the parallel moving of the vectors. So if you want to do a visual addition of the two vectors, you're going to move the vector you're adding to the point end of the first vector. So we're going to move u here to the point of v. Then we get the resulting vector here. Look at this. This means that we get the result vector here. And you can see that this is the same thing that we got from this. 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So this point 4, 3 can either be reached by the algebraic method over here, when you got the coordinates and you add them x components and you add the y components separately, or you can do it visually like this, by moving the vector you're adding to each other over this direction. The interesting thing about the visual representation that it makes it really easy to understand some special things about vectors. So if we remove u here again, And we would say that we would add this resulting vector. We could call it, let's call it C, because why not? So if we would do this addition, V plus U, I was reaching for an eraser, but I have an electric one. Haha. Minus C. So that would just flip the vector in the other direction, like this. Turn like this instead. You realize that this turns into 0, because we go one lap around. So every time 3 or more vectors, doesn't matter how many, reach around to the same point again, you know that the addition of them all is 0. So every time vectors add to 0, it's because the end point of this moving them together reaches back to the starting point. The thing with the visual representation is that it only works up to 3 dimensions, because in 4 dimensions you can't really draw it out and understand what's happening. But this is the basics, and I hope it was useful for you to know. See you in the next video. Leave a subscribe and follow if you want to see more. And please leave a little request of what you want to be instructed on up next. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.